Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm Bette McCarthy. I'm the chair of the Barnstable Old Kings Highway Historic Committee, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. The meeting of the Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable Government Access Channel. And in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, the chair must inquire if anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, please make their presence known. Okay, well, so we will continue on from there then. So to all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable Old Kings Highway Historic District Act under Section 9 of Chapter 470, Acts of 1973, as amended, you are hereby notified that a hearing will be held tonight on applications listed on the agenda for June 11th, 2025, and this meeting will be handled remotely. We'd like to remind all applicants and audience members that we are an elected volunteer committee, and we follow the guidelines of the Town of Barnstable Old Kings Highway Historic District Act. And any applicant or interested party who's aggrieved by any decision that this committee makes, they have a right to appeal the decision to the Old Kings Highway Regional Historic Committee. So we ask this evening that during the proceedings that all cell phones be turned off and conversations other than those before the committee take place outside of this remote meeting. When an applicant is called, we ask the applicant and all interested parties to identify themselves. And lastly, as best practices for meetings held remotely, where we may not be able to visually identify who's speaking, we ask all committee members and participants to identify themselves before making any motion or comments. And online audience members wishing to participate during the public comment section of the hearing, they can use the raised hand button to notify the chair. Dial-in audience members wishing to participate, they should press *9 on their phones to notify the chair. So all participants will be muted, and then you must be recognized by the chair in order to participate. So our first order of business is to have a roll call. So for the committee members, we have Leslie Wallace.
Here.
Ryan Caholen. All right. Wendy Schuck.
Here.
And I'm Bette McCarthy, and I'm here. So we now like to open the meeting, and our very first application is for Christina and Bryson Devine of 90 Pine Street, West Barnstable, map 153, parcel 024, built in 1972. And they wish to install solar panels that will not exceed the roof, but it will add 6 inches to the roof height, and 24 panels in total, and 2 Tesla Powerwall 3 batteries, nothing structural. And I believe the Devines asked for a continuance for the meeting, the next meeting, which would be June 25th. So in that case, we need a motion to accept their wishes to continue their application.
Okay. This is Wendy Schuck, and I move to continue the certificate of appropriateness application for Christina and Bryson Devine, 90 Pine Street, West Barnstable, map 153, parcel 024, built 1972, to the remote meeting on June 25th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote for that. Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy, aye. So,
Point of order, Bet, real quick. It looks
yes,
like Ryan did log on his phone. I just don't know if he can unmute himself to vote.
oh, all
Uh,
right,
I certainly can. I pardon my late arrival. Fourth
okay,
grade
all
spring
right,
concert took precedent, but
all
I'm out of
right,
that, and I vote aye.
all right. And Ryan, will you agree to continue the application?
That is an aye for Ryan Caholen.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, our next application is for Jennifer and Daniel Ojala of 32 Mid Pine Road, Barnstable, map 350, parcel 024. And this was built in 1997. And they wish to install a 10-foot by 2-inch and 19 feet by 6-inch garden shed. That would be 199 square feet in the rear yard, and the style and colors will match the main home. So we need to open a public hearing for this application.
This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
All right. Thank you. And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy, aye. So now we need the applicant to discuss the garden shed that they wish to install.
Sure. My name is Dan Ojala. I'm a civil engineer. I'm also the owner of the property with my wife, Jennifer. And what we'd like to do is put a garden shed behind the ADU that you folks so nicely permitted a little while back. So that's in the large bold letters here called proposed shed. And that's just under the 200 square foot where the building commissioner will allow you to tuck it a little bit closer to the lot line. I've met with with Paul and Brenda Reardon, my westerly abutters, and they're very, very comfortable with the application and are in support. The people across the street, though I don't think they could see it, Gail and Bruce Gilmore, retired attorney, are very comfortable with it. They said to voice their support. This is the shed here. It's a nice pitched roof, some shutters on the windows with some nice little lights on them. We may or may not do a gazebo, or I mean, sorry, yeah, well, a little a gazebo, a cupola. I'm sorry, cupola on the top. Wrong term. And but we'll do architectural shingles to match the house. We'll do claps to match the house, painted gray, white trim. So it'll, I think, be a nice little addition to the yard. And be glad to answer any questions if you have them. There's not really very visible from the street. Erica thought we might even get a green card on it, but you can just catch a view as you go by the ADU on the left, looking in the back. So I figured in an abundance of caution, I ought to come in and get it approved by you folks if that's your inkling. And I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Okay, does that include your remarks?
Yes, that would be the conclusion
Okay,
of my remarks.
all right, thank you. The committee, would you like to make some comments on that? Leslie Wallace, would you care to give your opinion?
Yes. Driving by and you're a bit elevated, you won't really see the shed. But the shed, it looks appropriate. Do the cupola and it'll be nice. And I think it's very appropriate.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Ryan, would you comment on this application?
I think it's very appropriate. I also enjoy the cupola, and you know, if there was glass or glazed over, I always support a light in a cupola. But that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Wendy, would you like to comment?
Yes, I agree. I think the structure fits in nice with the others on the property, blends well with the new ADU and the home. I think the materials are appropriate. I guess my one comment would be there's now 5 structures on the property that's just over a half an acre, and that's a lot. But having said that, I would agree that you really can't see it from the road. So, I'm in favor of this.
All right. Thank you, Wendy. All right. And this is Bette McCarthy. I concur with the comments made by the committee. I believe the structure is appropriate. The materials match those of the home. And again, it is not visible from the road. Then we would like to know if there's any members of the public wishing to comment on this application for a shed.
Chair, this is Erica Brown. I do not see anyone from the public wishing to speak to this item at this time.
All right, then we need to close the public hearing portion of this application.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Bette McCarthy, aye, and Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
All right. So now we need a motion.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Daniel and Jennifer Ojala, 32 Mid Pine Road, Barnstable, map 350, parcel 024, built 1997 as submitted.
Okay,
Second, Leslie Wallace.
thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace, sorry,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. All right. And so then,
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Our next application is for Nancy and Gerald Lyons of 54 Bayview Road, Barnstable, map 319, parcel 035. And this was built in 1966. And they wish to construct a 7 by 5 foot and a 4 by 8 and a half addition to the right elevation to contain their HVAC system. All materials will match those of the dwelling. So we need to open a public hearing for the Lyons application.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote for that. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So now we need the applicant to discuss their project. I know they were online.
Gerald, I think you're on mute still.
No.
There we go.
We thought George
That-
Blakely, the builder, was
Oh.
going to represent us, so.
And I did. I punched in
Oh.
a *9. I should be online.
Okay, there's
Hello.
George.
Okay,
Okay. You got me over there?
Yep, we can hear you, George.
Okay, great. I'm George Blakely, the contractor and agent for Nancy and Jerry Lyons, 54 Bayview. We proposed the construction of a utility space on the south side of the house. What you'll see from the street is the side view shown on the plan. All materials will match existing: white trim, white cedar sidewall, red cedar roof. This space is less than 30 square feet. It's designed to house the heating and air conditioning only, and that's what we need to do. That's about it. Any questions you have, I'll be glad to answer them.
Okay. Now with the committee like to comment on this addition to the home for the HVAC system?
Sure, I can start if you want, Beth.
Wendy, would you
Yeah.
like to comment?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's a very small addition. The materials all match the house. I think it fits in very nicely. So I don't have any concerns on this application.
All right, thank you, Wendy. Ryan, would you like to comment?
I think it's fairly non-controversial, straightforward, and functional. I think it's appropriate.
All right. And Leslie, what are your comments regarding?
I agree with Wendy and Ryan, appropriate.
All right. And this is Bette McCarthy, and I concur with the comments of the committee. It blends in perfectly with the rest of the house. So now we need to know if there's any members of the public wishing to comment on this application.
Chair, this is Erica Brown. I do not see anyone from the public wishing to speak to this item at this time.
Okay. All right, then let's close the public hearing portion.
Sure, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Brian Caholen,
Aye.
Bette McCarthy, aye. Now we need a motion.
Sure, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Gerald and Nancy Lyons, 54 Bayview Road, Barnstable, map 319, parcel 035, built 1966 as submitted.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Brian Caholen,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So the Lions, you're all set to go ahead with your project. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Our next application is for Foreside Harbor LLC, 1919 Main Street, West Barnstable, map 216, parcel 029, and built in 1950. And they wish to re-roof and install a new front door. So we need to open a public hearing for this application.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Brian Caholen,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So now would the applicant wish to discuss re-roofing and installing a new front door?
Hi, my name is Selena Gonzalez Roderick. I'm on behalf of WD Price Incorporated, the contractor on this project. We would like to apply, not change any dimensions or anything. We're going to re-roof the property to Certainteed Landmark asphalt, cobblestone gray shingles. And as you can see in the existing west elevation number 5, we would be changing that front door. The material, yep, there we go. That door in the middle that's circled, and then it will be oval rum blue paint color by Farrow and Ball, and that door will have the side lights there as well. And I would like to reflect that the scanned in color chip that was provided looks very baby blue, and I'm not sure if you can see, but it's a little bit darker, more like a marine blue than the baby blue. Can't really see, but it's not baby blue looking like it is on the computer screen. It's more of a marine tint to it.
All right. Committee comments. Leslie.
The door's fine, the roof's fine, the side light's fine. But the color has got to be a marine blue, not anything so light. That's
yeah, the color chip definitely looks baby blue.
Yeah. Is there any way to get a true reading of that blue?
If you're able to visit a website right now and pull it up on
Is it
pharaohball.com.
oh, okay. It's not what is that? Historic colors.
This most definitely would align with the Benjamin Moore historical.
Benjamin Moore, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would be a comparable in the historical.
If
And
I
what's the
may,
name of-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's the name of the paint again?
Sure, Pharaoh and Ball, number 185, oval room blue.
Oh, that's the name. Okay, got it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay.
I
Okay,
should be sharing it on my screen via what's coming up
Yeah.
on Google.
thanks, Erica.
If you guys can see that.
Yep. You okay with that, Leslie?
Yeah, it's lighter than I'd like, but it's not so in your face.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Thanks, Leslie. Ryan, would you like to comment on this?
I think that the roof door sidelight panels are all appropriate. I think Leslie, you're probably thinking more like a slate blue, correct?
Well, no, kind of that marine blue that she was, darker.
Yeah.
Not going into a babyish blue color, but that one's grayish blue, so it's not too in your face.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely support the more gray blue, but
Yeah.
with a color like that, I don't take any exception. I think it's appropriate.
Might go good with the roof too.
Hmm.
All right. Wendy, would you like to comment?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think, the new door is drastically different from the existing one. I think, the side lights are fine. I'm sure it'll add some nice light into the structure. The paint color I think is okay. I was glad to see it wasn't like a bright blue. It's more of a muted color, so I think the color is fine, and I think I agree with Leslie. It'll probably look very nice with those roof shingles, which I think are appropriate as well. So no concerns here, Bet.
Okay. Thank you. And this is Bet. I also agree with the comments by the committee, and I think the roof, door, side lights, and the color is appropriate as submitted. So we need to see if there are any members of the public wishing to comment on this.
Chair, this is Erica Brown. There's no one from the public wishing to speak to this item at this time.
Okay, very good. Then let's close the public hearing section.
This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
All right.
Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote would be Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Brian Caholen,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy. Aye. So then we need a motion.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Foreside Harbor LLC, 1919 Main Street, West Barnstable, map 216, parcel 029, built 1950 as submitted.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Brian Caholen,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy. Aye. So, all right, that concludes that application for, they have, this particular owner has a second application for Foreside Harbor LLC, 1919 Main Street, West Barnstable, 216, parcel 029, built in 1950. And they wish to install a new double-sided custom post and panel style sign for the new tenant. So we need to open a public hearing for this application.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Ryan Colan,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So now we need the applicant to discuss the sign that they wish to install.
I'm here for this property, but I believe the architect is here as well. Marion.
Hi, my name is Mariana Grusty, and I'm the architect for the project. Selena, do you want me to talk through it?
Sure, yeah, I see that you filed the application.
Okay. The sign at 8 square feet, which complies with the zoning requirements for this this area, are 2 painted posts with the logo on the 8 square foot panel suspended. I think this is sort of matching the style of other signs in the neighborhood. And it would replace the sign that exists there, so it would go back in the same location. And we are proposing just traditional detailing. So they're 4x4 posts with, they're 6x6 posts with spheres at either top. Proposing that perhaps they could be painted to coordinate with the logo just because it seems like a nice coordinated effort. And it's 2-sided, it's the same on both sides.
Okay.
There's a rendering too that might help.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Leslie, would you like to comment on this?
Yes. To me, it's nothing historic about it. And I don't know if colors would change it, but I mean, I drive this road all the time. I've never seen anything that looks like this. So if you could tell me where there's another one that looks like this, I'd be curious.
Down the street at the gallery, let me see, I've just done
Oh, the Japanese.
Yeah, they have a very similar approach where they have posts and a panel, and then they've actually even added above the panel their number, so it's actually a bit larger. But we drove around the neighborhood and photographed, and consulted with those other signs, thinking it was similar. This matches the style of the building much better because we have white painted trim, so we have a white painted sign. So in that sense, it wouldn't, they have darker wood and a red sign because it matches their architecture. But with the building, this actually has the same finishes.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, it doesn't look a bit historic, so I'll wait for others to chime in. Oh, also, I wanted to ask you, there's going to be a light on each side.
Yeah, so typically when we do these, we've done them along 6A for other buildings. We light them gently from below, and that way there's not a big bright light on the sign, which typically happens when you light them from above. And so it's much more gentle.
Okay.
Okay. Are you, does that complete your remarks, Leslie?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Ryan, would you like to comment?
Sure. I don't necessarily take exception to the sign design, but I have an issue with the sort of lollipop toppers on there. And I think to Leslie's point, it's a very busy sign. That beach ball logo carries a lot of color. So I could probably get behind something that is not as colorful. But I think to Leslie's point, it's not really indicative of anything that I would call historic. So I just think it's a busy sign, and like I said, I don't think that the lollipop toppers belong. That's probably all I have.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Wendy, would you like to comment?
Yes, I agree with Leslie and Ryan. I think the colors are just too bright. I'm looking at our handbook and, it says what's desirable is any of a wide range of warm colors, undesirable colors, stark white, hot orange, lemon, lime yellow, emerald, aqua. I just think the colors are too bright. I think if we could tone it down, maybe get the printed words in a single color. I think the beach ball, I think it is again too bright, and the two lollipops on the top. If they were both a muted color, I don't think it would be so bad. But as presented, I agree. It's just not. I just don't think it fits in the area. If this was in a different location, it would probably be fine. But I just think the colors, it's too bright and too much and doesn't really fit in.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. All right, this is Bette McCarthy. Um, I I went to the guidelines of the Old Kings Highway signs and just to do a little research on this. And undesirable colors are lemon lime yellow and aqua blue. They are not desirable colors for signs on the Old Kings Highway. So that would knock out several of the words there. So it doesn't say anything about red. We have approved, some colors in the past for other properties. I think perhaps the red and navy or something like that would be appropriate. And also the balls on the top. I understand this is for children, a toy library, and you are wishing to attract, to have some consistency with what the product that you're going to be selling there. But I think it has to be toned down, take out the objectionable color of yellow and the aqua blue. And perhaps you'd like to come back to us to our next meeting and to make some adjustments to that.
Is given the Zoom format, what is the protocol for me submitting actual paint colors? Because I think the digital rendering here is not doing the design justice. If you saw the actual colors, you wouldn't call them probably lemon yellow and aqua blue. It's hard, right? Once you make a PDF and then it gets projected on people's screens. So I'm happy to work with you on colors that everyone feels great about. And we had even talked about, maybe making both balls the same color, so it would be a blue that you were happy with. I mean, we're trying to, use the logo like any business would, right? And then we can tune it. We don't want to change the color so much that the logo itself is not recognizable, because that wouldn't really be good for the business. But maybe I could submit the actual paint samples, and that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think it would, but I mean, in my opinion, I think there's just too many colors too. I it's just too many. I think we've got to bring it back to, maybe two, because here we've got yellow, aqua, red. Um, I just think it's too many, especially on that white background. If it had like a darker background, it might not be so bad, but I think it's very busy.
Mm.
Yeah. But I do think the paint samples would be helpful, and I would appreciate that. I do think that would be helpful.
Okay.
Like on this picture here where it says 8 foot square with that yellow, is that the yellow that Cape Cod is in?
Yeah, so those are the same color, but they don't look the same color, right? In the type, it looks more lemony.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, so I think that would help. And I'm happy to deliver samples of paint colors so we could so you could see them for real. And if the balls were the same color or even white, that might, I mean, because that point we have a white painted panel sign, which is a historic reference to very old-fashioned signs, right? The way they were made. So I think that that could be a direction that we go. And then work with the colors of the toy library to see maybe the ball gets to stay the 3 colors and the type is all 1 color, you know? So I think there's some iterations we can show you.
To me, I would highly recommend either making both of the post top balls the same color or probably remove them. I understand your reference to a historical sign, but not that I've seen.
Oh, yeah, I saw it as a traditional detail, right? You see balls on the tops of fence posts a lot and things like that. So that was our reference. But
I mean, I think if it were, and I'm not suggesting this is where you go by any stretch, but just by way of example, like if this was like a navy blue background with gold writing and gold balls on the top, I think something like that might be okay because I think it's toned down and it's those, kind of warmer tones. Like some of these are very cold tones, I think. And I think in our handbook, it does say warm colors. And these are very bright, vibrant colors.
okay. Thanks for your feedback. I think that we'll tweak it.
Okay.
Get some real paint samples together. So that's always really helpful.
This is Erica Brown. Marianne, you can drop those paint samples off to me at the town hall, and then I'll get in touch with the committee members to get them the paint samples, okay?
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Okay. So, all right, I think it might be best then to continue for our next meeting. Is that agreeable? Okay. All right, very good. Then we don't, there are members of the public making comments. Are there any members of the public wishing to make comments? I believe there's a letter.
Yes.
Chair, this is Erica Brown. Yes. Ms. Riley and Mr. Wirtanen, I believe, had submitted a letter in opposition to the sign. Did everyone get a chance to look at that?
Yeah.
And is there anything specific about the sign that they're objecting to?
Their comments were along the lines of the committee's comments as well, that about the colors and also the lighting too. But I don't know if the comments of the lighting had cleared up anything for them. I see that Terry is on. Terry, did you want to make any other comments?
Well, I just wanted to go along with what everyone else was saying, that this is not an historic sign. It doesn't fit in with the Old Kings Highway and the precedent that's been set. It should be a 2-color sign, and it should be definitely more subdued than it is. So this is not part of the neighborhood. And we want to welcome this business to the neighborhood. We're very happy that they're coming. I have a question about the logo. You said that this is the business logo, but how established is this business and where has this logo been seen before? Marianne?
Yes, the business is quite established. Right now, it's been located about a mile west in the church. They
Yes, the
also
Lutheran
own
Church.
They also own an operated playground at the library in Hyannis, and so the logo as an identity is quite established. In terms of a nonprofit world, it's recognizable.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, as far as the public knows, because I've never seen this logo before, and I'm on Main Street in Hyannis a lot, and I live right down from the church. As a matter of fact, I'm diagonally across the street from where you want to put the sign, where this building is And one of the things that we're concerned about, in addition to the garish colors of the sign, is the lighting. We already, as where we are located, there's a lot of cars that come in and out of there when it was the quilt shop. So we have constant headlights coming into our house, into our living room. We can see that all the time. That's, we've learned to live with that. There's not much we can do about that. But the outdoor lights are something that's really a problem because they're on all night. And there's no reason to have the sign lit at night because that intersection is so well lit from street lights. So we get the ambient light coming from the college, which is lit all the time too, and all the cars going by. So having a lit sign just doesn't seem to be, unless it's a very subtle light, just doesn't seem to be that necessary to that, because I don't think you're going to be doing any business after 8 o'clock at night, I'm sure. But,
Right.
and we don't, it's not that the children are going to be reading this sign. This sign is supposed to direct the adults to where to go, to bring their kids or to utilize the business services. It's just, when you drive up and down 6A, you don't see signs like this anywhere. You don't see it on playgrounds. You don't see it in schools, restaurants, farms. Nobody has a sign quite like this. So we're just asking that it be toned down quite a bit because it's pretty in your face. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. The committee has also made their comments, and we've done some background. We've gone into what's allowable by the Old Kings Highway, and some lighting is appropriate if it's in the planted area, and perhaps we can discuss with the intended company to limit the timing of the lighting so that it would not be on 24 hours. So we can have them discuss that when they come back, and when we continue this application to our next meeting. Okay, but illuminated lighting is appropriate according to the Old Kings Highway regulations, but that is within reason. So just to let you know that. All right. So thank you very much. In that case, then we can close the public comment section of this application.
Point of order, Beth. This
Oh,
is
yes.
Erica Brown. We want to keep the public comment open because we are
that's right.
continuing
Since
this
it's going to be
application.
continued. All right.
Yep,
so then
so
we
we can
need
have
a
a motion.
motion to continue this application to our next meeting.
Yep. Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to continue the certificate of appropriateness application for Foreside Harbor LLC, 1919 Main Street, West Barnstable, map 216, parcel 029, built 1950, to the remote meeting on June 25th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m.
Second,
Thank you.
Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Brian Caholen,
Hey.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So this application will be continued until our next meeting. All right. That concludes the application for this evening's meeting. And we do not have any minor modifications or extensions or other. The only other item on our agenda is to approve the minutes that Leslie has submitted from our last meeting.
Erica.
Leslie, sorry, Erica. Oh, I'm giving you
I don't
all
want
kinds
any.
of.
I don't want any
Yeah.
boo-boos on those
All right.
minutes.
So, are there any comments on the minutes from the?
I didn't have any edits, or I thought they looked good.
Okay, and this is Bette. I also reviewed the minutes and did not see any thing that needed to be modified. So then, any other comments regarding that? No? All right. So then we need a motion to accept the minutes from the meeting, and that was the meeting were May, let's
28th.
see.
Yeah.
That was May 28th.
Yeah. Okay. This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the minutes from the meeting held on Wednesday, May 28th, 2025, as submitted.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen.
I'm going to abstain. I have not reviewed the meeting.
Okay. All right. Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
And Bette McCarthy. Aye. All right. So our minutes are approved, and we need a motion to conclude our meeting for this evening.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to adjourn today's meeting Wednesday, June 11th, 2025.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck.
Aye.
Ryan Caholen.
Aye.
Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
And Bette McCarthy. Aye.